or Iglesia ni Cristo.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. Welcome to INCRadio Silicon Valley, California. I'm Sister Jill Navasca, and joining me tonight,
I'm Brother Miguel Jimenez. I'm from the local congregation of Fremont.
I'm Brother Glean from the local congregation of Salinas.
and we want to say thank you to everyone who's already sending in their greetings on our live chat. Please continue to add your comments and greetings to our discussion tonight. And tonight, we are going to talk about going on a trip.
Wow.
You know, we are just in the beginning of the year and we still have a whole year ahead of us. So, is planning a trip in the beginning of the year something that many of us do, or is it something that we do even the year before? What are your thoughts? Anybody on the live chat? Do you plan the year before for the following year, or is it the beginning of the year that you sort of plan a trip with your family and loved ones?
I think it really depends. Like for me personally, if it's like a trip that's like going international or somewhere we have to like go out of the country or something like that,
Yeah.
I think definitely it's like at least like 6 months. But I think we'll kind of break it down. But if it's like a day trip or something, it's not too bad. I think we can plan it within like a couple weeks.
I think the beginning of the year is actually the most perfect time to plan a trip because you have the entire year to plan and even an entire year to reflect upon what you didn't do and what you didn't get to experience.
Yes, that's a good point. In the beginning of the year, sort of think where can we see this year?
Yeah.
For families, I know you look at your school year when the vacation happens,
Yeah.
when those holidays come up, especially spring breaks or summer breaks.
Yeah.
You kind of then look into those months to sort of plan a getaway, a
Yeah.
vacation. And so, what are the different types of vacations and trips that we look forward to doing? What are different ones that we think of?
I think like I said earlier is like an international trip. Those are the ones that those are the big ones you kind of do like maybe once a year or even like every other year or so. And then even trips within maybe like 3 or 4 hours that's away from like wherever you live,
Yeah.
whether it be driving or even taking like other forms of transportations through like even a small like a short flight or even like for those who wants to take like a trip like on a boat or something, that's something that's doable too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
A trip can be any amount of time, and I think any amount of distance. It can be in the town over, out of state, out of country, or even just a
Like
trip.
that. Yeah, a trip that takes you out of the comfort of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Whether you're in this area, you're thinking I want to find and discover something new. So even if it's just a day trip, like you mentioned, 2 to 3 hours away from your hometown, that's planning a trip already. I
Yeah.
think that makes discovering something new or planning a trip is just something that we can sort of look forward to doing. And I think, as
Especially, yeah.
mentioned, in the beginning of the year, there's still a whole year ahead of us with different holidays that come up here in the US.
Yes.
And of course, the breaks for those going to school. And then there's times when families can really get together and make a big reunion, let's say, in a different country,
Yeah.
to just sort of discover something altogether. Um, Thoughts on our live chat, please send in what types of trips do you tend and like to do. So here in our discussion tonight, we want to see, sometimes when you go and plan a trip, it gets overwhelming. So we're hoping to sort of help anybody get started in planning on going on a trip. Yes. Okay, so again, there's the weekend getaways where you've planned something and it takes a weekend. It could be overnight even, or in the middle of the week, because for whatever reason that's the holiday that we end up getting. It's in the
Yeah.
middle of the week. So these are just one of those short probably trips. There could be week-long trips, the international trips to different cities,
Yes.
even I heard you said this earlier, staycation.
Oh yeah,
Those are really
staycations, yo.
easy, I
Yeah.
think, in planning and doing when staycation, especially in our area of
Yes.
Silicon Valley, of course, next door to the Bay Area. There's so much to still discover
Yeah.
in some of the very picturesque towns that we live close to.
Yes.
Okay, so what? Let's see. Before we jump into how we can get started, let's read some comments.
Yeah, let's read
Okay,
some.
so first up, we want to say and read Michael Kiliopo. Hello, Mike. Happy viewing, everyone from here in hashtag Mountain View, hashtag SVC. Speaking of, we are live here in Mountain
Mountain
View
View.
tonight. Thank you to the local congregation of Mountain View for hosting us tonight. And as always, a nice, different scenery for our INC radio this week. So thank you. And thank you to Mountain View once again.
Oh, can I read this comment from Jess? Good evening and happy viewing from all of the supporters of INC Radio SVC from Brother Jess and Sister Sally Del Rosario from Fremont.
Hello po, Ka
Hi,
Jessica
Ka
Sally
Jess.
Fremont. Thank you for tuning in tonight.
The next greeting coming from Brother Romel Jr. Aquino. He says, "Hello, po. Looking forward to another amazing INC radio broadcast. Hashtag San Jose, hashtag SVC."
Oh, San Jose, it's here tonight.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you, San
Rebel.
Jose. Then we also have Mike, who's also here with us. Mike, good evening, Paul, from the locale of hashtag Salinas, district of hashtag SVC, Silicon Valley, California. Hope you all enjoyed tonight's show. Thanks, Mike, for helping us for our tech tonight.
And then I see on one of the last comments, Irene, good evening po to all of the brethren watching tonight po from Union City, hashtag SVC.
Thank you. Oh, Union City.
Oh, yes.
Right. Awesome. Representing Union City. I also want to throw this in before we get back to our topic. Alex Onyata, he is on tonight, our assistant supervising district minister.
Hi,
Hello, po.
Alex.
Hello, po. And his greeting says, hello, po, to all brothers and sisters. Happy viewing, po, to all. Hashtag INC Radio. Thank you, po, Ka Alex, for supporting INC Radio. So, to our topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we go, oh, I want to go on a trip, we then go and search. We search a place and then we search for places and then we get overwhelmed and we then get stuck. Then we get stuck in actually planning on going anywhere because there's so much information.
Yeah.
So here's one idea, and you guys definitely jump in. Maybe start first with setting a budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Setting a budget might help then determine where you might want to go, or
Yeah.
help you to say, this is our budget, here are the places that we can see and discover. How about for you, Miguel?
Yeah, setting a budget I think is really important. There's a difference between, like, let's say, oh, I want to travel to, let's say, Switzerland, or travel to, let's say, San Francisco from where we're at right now. It's very different when it comes to setting the budget. Like, international trips are typically more expensive,
Yes.
and there's like a lot of more budget that you need to place. But then when you have like a staycation or just a weekend getaway, it's a little bit more easier on our wallet. Let's
Yes.
say. Yeah, but definitely, like, I think when it comes to budgeting, I think, to be honest, for me, that's one of my favorite parts. It's like I really like the whole budgeting aspect, creating the
Nice.
itinerary, because
Mhm.
you got to think of all of these options and everything. But like, Leon, what do you think about like planning a trip?
My approach for the budget aspect of a trip is definitely sort of having that discipline.
Oh yeah, I don't have
Yes.
discipline.
I can imagine for those fellow brethren who maybe come to a new country. Let's say you go to Japan. I'm sure you don't want to blow half your budget on an action figure you may not
Oh
need,
yeah,
or sort of
Maybe.
If you-
maybe for those
Maybe, who knows?
enthusiasts,
But
knows?
I agree, yes.
Yeah.
sort of having the mindset is, if do I want it or do I need it, and sort of will this make me happy in the long run?
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I think it brings us to maybe another tip besides the budget
Yes.
is, once you have this budget, maybe it helps you choose a destination, but then maybe you can prioritize what type of trip this might be.
Mm.
So what if it was a trip to collect things? You know, what if they had
Oh.
a budget to
Oh
go
yeah, that's
into
true.
another place like Japan, of
Yeah.
huge collectors, you know, at so many things that, you know, many that go to Japan might collect vintage
Yeah.
items, toys, different action figures,
Mhm.
but setting maybe the destination, but what type? Is it food? Is it
I've heard,
exploring?
yeah,
Food and exploring sort of go hand in hand, but you know, there could be some kind of ways to set and prioritize
different
your
trips. Yeah.
trip.
Yeah, I've heard so many different things. Like I heard of like food trips, like you
Mhm.
said,
Yeah.
but also been hearing like I've heard from a couple of friends that they would go on trips where they actually explore a lot of nature.
Oh
So they
yes.
would check out different like national parks, especially here.
In the
And then
US,
they'll in
yeah.
the US, US is really known for a lot of like national parks. So they would do a lot of like adventure, like by hiking, a lot of like, outdoor
Outdoor
activities.
activities.
So
So
those are one of the things
that
that
is
I think
a
is cool.
priority for when you maybe plan a trip. It's more exploring,
Mhm,
more
yeah.
outdoor activities. And that's a type of trip that, you know, there
Yeah.
are those that like to do that. Glenn, what were we going to say?
Actually, Miguel brought up a really great point. It's sort of having an objective when you're going on a
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah.
Sort of maybe you're going to a specific city or country for a specific event or for the environment, like
Yeah.
Miguel's friend said.
Hmm.
It's great to establish what you want to do, a change of scenery, a change of maybe culture or food that you may want to
Yes.
experience and try.
I've been on so many food trips this
It
last
is
year, so
definitely, and there's
it's
tons of food trips so that you can sort of create your priorities
yeah.
when
Yes.
planning a trip. Maybe you could start saying, is it relaxation? Do I not want to go out? I just want to be R&R, rest and relax, you know, and
Oh, I have never heard
not
of that. R and
right,
R, yeah.
and not spend the time like you know, like running all around the city to just explore, if that's not the type of trip that you have been planning. So if
That's
it's
so true.
more of a relaxing trip, then you find really great food places maybe,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
really great places to get you know, massages, or you know, just something to detox your soul, your
Yeah.
body, your thoughts, your minds. And maybe it's in a quiet area, things like that. So it could also be a relaxing trip,
Yes.
right? And I think those are the different types of trips to plan out. Is what type should it be? And of course
Definitely.
it depends on your interests, of course, also with families. You know, sometimes, you know, you have to also think of the kids, the children, and what activities
Yeah.
they might like. So you sort of have to kind of have this a bit of coordination with every single one of the family members that are going on this trip.
Actually, Sister Jill, one of the member or one of the commenters has a question for us.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
It says, "At the speakers, where are your dream destinations to visit?"
Oh,
From
that's a
Great
good-
Sister
question.
oh,
from
that's
Sister
Sister
Oh,
Jerica.
Good
thank
question.
you, Sister Jerica. Great
Uh,
question. Dream destination. You
you go
know,
first.
I'll go first because you already mentioned it. You said Japan. I haven't been to Japan,
Ooh, yeah.
and I've seen, obviously, in the age of social media, there's so many great
Yeah.
places to see out in Japan. It's I definitely one of those that I want to go to is Japan, and
Yes.
um, haven't. I mean, besides Philippines,
Yes.
South Asia in general, I haven't really truly had a chance to um, travel to and discover. Like when you think of Southeast Asian countries, haven't been to. So Japan would be the first thing I think, if another Asian country besides the Philippines, of course, to go see.
What about you?
I'm gonna go steal Sister Jill's answer.
Japan, yeah.
So-
Japan is
Japan
nice.
it is.
Japan has been one of my dream places to visit, and possibly maybe even live there at some point in my life.
Oh,
Wow.
Ever since of a kid, I've sort of dreamt of maybe just exploring, buying those action figures like I was talking about earlier,
Yes.
Yeah.
walking around. I know there's a lot of great nature spots
Oh
in
yeah,
Japan.
yeah.
Mount Fuji, the cherry blossoms. I've always wanted to try a hot springs,
Oh,
Oh,
like
I've seen those.
those
Yeah,
natural hot
yeah,
springs.
yeah.
Yes, in Japan.
wow. Funny. And the thing about Japan is there's so many different types of trips you can actually
Yes.
do in Japan. You could do either city sightseeing, you could do relaxation where you go into those natural hot springs, or hike,
Yes.
right? The nature out there is also beautiful as I've seen in pictures. I haven't been. And then food, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh
food as
yes.
well. And so many different types that, I think trying to fit it all could be in an international trip. It's almost, you might need a month. I don't know.
I think more than a month.
How about you, Miguel? Where's your
I've been
dream
thinking about
destination?
this for like when you guys are talking. So I guess one of the things that I wanted to try or at least go to is Vietnam. So I want
Wow.
to go to Vietnam because I love pho. I said it in other
Yes,
episodes
I do
before.
remember this.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
pho.
I really like pho. So like I really want to go to that to the country of
Homeland. I'm
origin,
kidding.
the homeland
Of pho.
of
I heard
pho.
the pho and the banh mi is like really cheap over
Yeah,
there
so
too.
it's cheap and it's really good. Of course it's authentic, but
Yes.
Yes,
I want to kind of like
that's
think about that. I only
that's
want to go for
awesome.
pho, but
That is
yeah,
awesome.
I
That's a
think
good one.
there's a lot of things to do there. So I really want to try all of the food there, all the cuisine. Like you said, probably do like a food trip there, but
Yeah.
Yes.
But I
you
think
know,
with international trip, you can't avoid doing different types. It can't be solely just one type because
yeah,
there's
Mhm.
so much to discover. I think
yeah,
so. In that type of trips, I think you sort of do a bit of a kind of planning out a
yeah.
bit,
Yes.
a little bit more planning out. Speaking, we have some comments that we want to share. Thank you for sharing your favorite destination places. So we have one with Sister Nikki Custodio. Hi, Sister Nikki. And one of her bucket list destination is Switzerland.
Oh,
Oh.
Switzerland is nice. I heard
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I
Oh,
I've been to Europe, but not Switzerland.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm like, oh, Switzerland sounds amazing. I've seen it again, very picturesque as
yeah.
well. Oh, excuse me,
Oops.
that's unfortunate. But okay, let's go and
um,
read.
Sister Ronnie Lee says Kyoto is a very beautiful part of Japan. Actually, did you guys
Oh,
know that before Tokyo, Kyoto was the original capital of
Oh,
Japan?
really? I didn't
And
know that.
there's a
Wow.
lot of traditional sightseeing you can see in Kyoto.
Mhm.
So as she says, it's a very beautiful place. So definitely
Yeah,
give it a
that's true.
visit.
I've heard
yeah.
there's so
Besides,
many
like
people
I
going to
think
Japan.
Tokyo is really. My sister had gone about a year ago, and she says
Yeah,
Tokyo's really crowded. So if you
yeah,
want to
Very
just
city.
very city-like, so to get a bit of a different perspective of Japan, I think the other cities are just as awesome,
yeah.
just as
I
awesome.
think Japan in general is awesome.
Just awesome. But I
Yeah,
think if you didn't want too much of a crowd, you might go into another place like Kyoto.
yeah.
What else do we have on our chat tonight? So we have, let's read, brother. Oh, come Michael, come Mike Guerrero. Hello, Paul. He's in Bay Area district, but greetings, brethren, watching from San Francisco. Hello, Paul.
Oh,
Thank you for tuning in tonight.
I want to read this comment, Sister Nicole Molina. Oh, hi. Good evening. I need at least 2 to 4 months of budgeting before planning an international trip. If it's more local, I like a little bit more spontaneous with a week ahead of time. Hashtag SVC. That's so true.
It is. I
Yeah.
agree. That's a great tip, Sister Nikki. Thank you so much. She said 2 to 4 months in
For
budgeting for an
international.
international. I think that's
That's true.
doable.
That
It
is
doesn't feel
true.
too far out,
Yeah.
and yet you could still plan. There's some there's some that sort of say I'll plan for a whole year, but I would think the momentum might sort
It
of
will die down.
slow
Yeah.
down and maybe not make it to that trip. So I think the 2 to 4 months
Yeah.
sounds doable. Again, if someone takes a whole year to plan a trip, totally fine too.
Kudos to them.
Yes,
Yeah.
without losing momentum or
But
losing track.
I do like how she said for local trips
Yes.
that we do very like she suggested something a little bit more spontaneous because like local trips, I think there's a lot of fun with like surprises and everything, and then those that are doing local trips like around here, nothing too far like international.
Yes.
No need for too much planning.
Yes.
I agree. So, which reminds me on research, right?
Yeah.
So when we're planning out activities to when we do plan this trip, let's say we've already set our budget, we've chosen a destination and what type.
Mhm.
Now we go into planning the itinerary. So you research, you do a bunch of research. Where do you get content information from that you could use to plan out the itinerary for this trip?
I what are your thoughts?
Definitely the content, great. source would definitely be friends and family that
Yeah.
have went
Yes.
Yeah.
to your target country or destination of choice, because
Yes.
you have the firsthand experience. They tell you
Exactly.
your do's and don'ts. So yeah.
Perfect. I think that's a great resource is if again going and searching online feels overwhelming. There's so many
Yes.
top 10 lists out there that you just didn't, it's not top 10 anymore. It's like top 100.
Yeah.
So going straight to the source of those who've already been,
Mhm.
asking them for their tips, their advice on what to do and where to go is probably an easy way to create and plan out a trip. How about
Yeah.
you, Miguel?
I would say that I would agree with this with you because honestly, if I'm going to a new destination or a new place, I would like someone who that has been there, or even better yet, if somebody lives there currently,
Oh yeah.
that they're
Nice.
where I want to visit. I would
Mm-hmm.
like to get asked for like a tour or something, because there's a lot of things, especially on social media and then online,
Yes.
where it's really mainstream.
Yes.
So I would like to have that local experience, that
Yeah,
local dive.
local experience. So go and find someone who's already living there
Yeah.
and tap them to be your local guide.
Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes it's too crowded when you
Yeah.
go to those like tourist attractions. But then if you ask the locals, they know
Where to
where to
go.
go.
And you
Yeah,
still get that experience in the area that
exactly.
you're
Yeah,
at without the crowd,
yeah,
without the tourists, or and you won't miss anything because you're
yeah,
actually feeling like you're a local
yeah.
watch.
Yes.
And I
That's
feel a
a
little
good
bit more
idea.
special
Yeah.
if I
Especially
get the
because they're
local guide.
the
Yeah,
local guide. No,
yeah,
that's a great point. If you have friends already that are in the place that you want to visit, then ask them for their advice or ask them to show you around so that
exactly.
you
Yeah,
feel like a little bit more of a local than a tourist.
yeah,
Oh, those
exactly.
are great tips, Brother Miguel. Okay, so let me see if there's anyone else who. Oh, we have someone. We have Brother Sean Pierce. Happy viewing pod, District of Micronesia, locale of Guam. Thank
Wow.
you for tuning in. I believe it's about noontime, maybe afternoon
In
out
Guam.
there. So good afternoon to everyone in the District of Micronesia and the locale of Guam. Thank
I've
you for
always wanted to go to Guam.
thank you for tuning in. We also have Brother Danny Bilong. He says, if you cannot make it to Vietnam, if the local congregation of San Jose is close to an area called Little Saigon.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Brother Danny. Yes, if
What they
Vietnam
say
is
we
in
have.
your bucket list, go to San Jose on Story Road by our chapel and go to the Little Saigon because you will find a lot of food, Vietnamese food in that area.
What
Definitely,
what
I
they say we
agree.
have Vietnam at home.
Vietnam at home. Okay, and we have also Brother Jordan and DK watching YouTube vlogs really help in
Oh, that's
preparation,
true.
as
Yeah,
well as
yeah.
asking, as well as connecting with brethren from the
That's so
area.
true. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Thanks, Brother Jordan, for that tip. Vlogs on
Mhm.
YouTube about the area, and you really see a bit firsthand from someone visiting the area, giving their first-hand advice or opinion of the area, as well as connecting with the brethren
Oh,
already
yeah.
in the area. Oh, that's a great
That's
tip.
true. We have so
So
much brethren in Japan,
Oh
especially.
yes.
Yeah.
especially so connecting with our brethren out in the areas that you want to visit to get that local touch, to get the insider places to go to and visit. That's a great tip.
That's true.
We have so many, again, brethren all over the world that we can tap in and connect with as well, and actually meet. So it's
Yeah.
really a um, great place to start as well.
Yes.
And then limited source of tour guides.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Yes. And, as we're talking about creating itineraries and priorities, I think the last thing that I kind of want to give for tonight about
Mhm.
planning a trip
Yeah.
is being flexible.
Yes.
Is that a very good
Mm,
statement or
yes.
tip to say about when you're
Be
planning a
very
trip?
flexible. Yeah.
Yes.
I think for my opinion, like I think there's always a happy medium, a happy balance.
Yes.
Like there are things that you can always try to go for your itinerary, like must do's,
Mhm.
but then I think it's also best to have that flexibility. I think Sister Nikki's was mentioning that, but if we have flexibility, that's the fun of the trip.
Yes.
If there's
True.
expectations that you are going to go and if you're going to max out your whole day and you don't do the like activities
Yes.
or see the places that you want to go. It gets kind of sad if you don't hit those places, but having flexibility is important.
I think before you jump in, Korean, I think having that flexibility helps it to make it more spontaneous and fun and memorable at the
Exactly,
same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Because I do think sometimes when you hit a spot that you wasn't on your list or wasn't a priority, and then you suddenly discovered something so different that you weren't expecting, that's also quite fun to
Yeah,
discover.
that's like more memorable.
Yeah, you suddenly remember, oh my, we just stumbled into
Yeah.
it.
Sister Jill, Brother Miguel, you guys brought up really great points in having that flexibility when like having a trip because if let's say you don't want that one little hiccup or that one little bump determining the rest of the tone of
Yes,
the trip.
Exactly,
yes,
yes, yeah.
yes.
Imagine if you left your left shoe in Guam. You have a memorable memory. You can look back and laugh at it.
That's true.
Yes, you
That's
can laugh
true.
out about
Yeah.
it, and sort of make being flexible also so that you don't get hung up on the small
The small
things,
things,
Yes.
yeah.
right? And you
Like that
want to
left
still
shoe.
enjoy and like that one shoe, and you still are able to enjoy the rest of the trip, as and make it memorable as
Yeah.
well. Okay, so let's as we're wrapping up, we have a couple more comments that we want to say out for tonight. We have Sister Reina Christina Manuel would always spend on good food in foreign countries. So her
Oh,
priority
yes.
is budgeting for good food.
Good food.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
I think and I've seen a lot of food shows and travel shows, and the food is always it looks so interesting, so special, and makes
Yeah.
it so memorable because imagine you trying something in a different place that
Yeah.
you can't find out here. So it makes it so unique of an experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like a way to like honestly just connect with their culture, connect with the people. Food is so like it's important, like pho, you know.
Yeah.
Like it,
Connect with others through
connect
food
to
as
others.
well,
Yes,
because
yeah.
you might go into a restaurant, ask what their favorite food is, and
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
already asking them to give you a tip once you walk into a food place.
Mhm.
So we have a couple more. One reminder from Sister Nellie Magno. Of course, first plan and make sure during the planning that there is a chapel
Oh
that you can
yes,
go
that's
to.
probably the most important thing to always think about with trips.
And then lastly, we have Ron Ryan Favalor Karan Hello Paul. He says also like what the locals say, the locals, not locals. Excuse me, the locals don't drink the water. Great tip, great tip. Always get
Yes,
bottled water in
bottled
a
water.
foreign country. I'm pretty sure that's if your body's not used to something,
Mhm.
don't do it.
That's true.
Like drinking the water. You don't want to spend your trip being ill. So
I know.
that's a great tip, Karan. Thank you for tuning in tonight. So we would just want to thank you to all those that sent their comments and greetings. So we also have in our district some upcoming activities here in this district of Silicon Valley, California.
So for all of our boba tea lovers or our milk tea lovers, we have a DIY boba trip or
Ooh.
DIY
Boba
activity.
trip? What? I missed that. No, I'm just kidding.
We're going on a trip.
Trip all
Trip
around
is
my
still we're still on the trip, but Boba. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We have a DIY boba activity in the locale of San Jose in the
Mhm.
function hall, 12 p.m. this Saturday, the 24th, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it
Uh,
20?
I think it's next week. Actually,
week,
yeah,
Next
yes.
next week.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Next Saturday.
25th,
Yeah.
I believe. But it is a trip because San Jose, as mentioned earlier,
Oh yeah, Little Saigon.
is Little Saigon. So there's a mini trip right there. We're going to Little Saigon
There
next
you
week
go.
for
There
boba.
you go. There you go.
All right. What else is happening in our district?
And then, of course, we have this upcoming weekend. We have our joint CFO meeting. So there's going to be a times for every local. I believe 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Saturday and 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Sunday as well.
Yes,
Be sure
please.
to all join the meeting, and then I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great instructions from the church administration.
Yes.
Definitely. I think we have one more
And
that we
then-
would like to share.
Oh yes, and then I believe also the CDBS activity, the card making activity. I believe it's gonna be Saturday.
It'll be Saturdays
Saturday.
or Sunday, depending
Saturday.
on when their CWS
Yes, the schedule.
schedule is.
And then for our upcoming for in February, for those that are Kadiwa that is watching within our district, even outside the district, we have our district Kadiwa formal This is on February 23 at 6 p.m. It's going to be on a Sunday. We're super excited. We've been working really hard for this activity, and we would love everyone to come join us. It's going to be
Yes.
at
The first Kadiwa or
district.
district.
Yes,
Formal, oh,
this
so
first formal in SVC
in
for District
SVC.
Kadiwa.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
for Kadiwa.
exactly.
Brother Miguel, what's our theme for that? Could you?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. So, I don't want to give too much away, but for those that are watching, we'd love to give you a snippet. Our theme is Starry Night, and it'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it
Wow.
at that.
So I, wow, I hope I get to witness it, even though I'm not Kadiwa anymore.
You
But
can still come if you wanna help out. Like, you can always come and help out.
but
Yeah.
being able to see formal, and especially first one for the Kadiwa in our district.
Mhm.
So I hope everyone joins in on that. No, don't miss out. As
Yeah.
we had ours in back in December, and I want to say everyone really enjoy themselves. So
Yeah.
it's I think for our upcoming one for the Kadiwas this time,
Mhm.
please don't miss out. Definitely
Yes.
go.
Please come. Please
And
come.
then I just want to add to for everyone tuning in tonight, please be sure to tune in next Friday as we have some giveaways. As you know, INC Media Live visited our district just a few is it last Friday?
Yep.
And we have a prize pack that they share, had given to our district. And that means we are now able to share with all of our INC radio
Prize
listeners. So
time.
prize time, exactly. So please tune in next Friday to find out ways how you can win some of these prizes. And they're great prizes too. There's some um, Christian planners that are there.
For the
and
trips that you're gonna plan.
exact for the trips that we are going to plan. Exactly. So tune in again for our INC radio to get the giveaways, and of course INC Media Live every Fridays at 3 p.m. Now, Brother Glenn, what are the other ways to tune into our church media?
Some other ways definitely could include visiting our YouTube channel at INC Radio DZEM 954. Please share the link and subscribe. Our social media, Iglesia Ni Cristo News and Updates on Facebook, our Instagram at INC News and Updates, and Twitter or X, our INC News _ updates.
And of course, we'd like to thank our church administration, our CEBSI, our church administration for supporting INC Radio. We'll start first with our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, as well as our CEBSI CEO and Christian Family Organization Coordinator, Brother Angelo Manalo. We'd like to thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to have INC Radio in our district.
And then we also like to thank, of course, our Silicon Valley district staff, starting with our district supervising minister, Ka Noel Escasman, our assistant district supervising minister, Ka Alex Norte, and then our CFO overseer, Ka Mark Anthony Manuel, and last but not least, our multimedia advisor, Ka Francis Valencia.
Yes.
From our INC Radio, we'd also like to thank our Kuya Tech, Brother Manly Andaya, Brother Wally Taray as the station manager.
Yes, so and we'd like to thank everyone tuning in from here and all over the world to INC Media, INC Radio.
Tuning to that as well.
INC Radio, Silicon Valley, California. And we'll see you all again next Friday at 10 p.m.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care,
Thank you.
everyone.
Hi, Mom.